The notification on my phone read, "Your mortgage payment of $2,847 has been processed." I stared at it for a moment, sitting in my car outside the Home Depot where I'd just bought paint supplies. That mortgage wasn't for my house. My house had been paid off for 20 years. No, that payment was for my son's house. The 4-bedroom colonial in the suburbs that he and his wife couldn't quite afford on their own, despite both of them working. The house I'd co-signed for 3 years ago because, Dad, we need the space for when we have kids. The house where I apparently wasn't welcome anymore. I'd found that out yesterday. Let me back up. My name's Robert Chen. I'm 63 years old, retired from 35 years as a mechanical engineer at Boeing. My wife Linda passed away from cancer when our son David was only 12. It was just the two of us after that. I worked overtime, took on consulting gigs, anything to make sure he had what he needed, made sure he could go to college without loans, made sure he had a car, made sure he never felt like losing his mom meant losing his whole childhood. We were close. Or at least I thought we were. David graduated from University of Washington with a degree in finance. Got a decent job at a wealth management firm. Met a woman named Christina at a networking event. They dated for 8 months before he proposed. I liked her at first. She was polished, well-spoken, knew how to make conversation. She called me Robert from day one, never Mr. Chen or Dad, but I figured that was just her generation. Less formal. The wedding was 3 years ago. Small ceremony, 50 people. I paid for half of it without being asked because that's what fathers do. Christina's parents, who owned a chain of medical supply stores, paid for the other half. They made sure everyone knew it too. Things started changing after the wedding. Slowly at first. David would cancel our Sunday dinners. Christina's not feeling well. Or Christina's parents invited us over. Then it was, we're busy with house hunting. When they found the house they wanted, the mortgage broker said they needed a co-signer. Their debt-to-income ratio was too high. David had student loans from grad school he'd taken on for his MBA. Christina had a car payment on her BMW. They were both making good money, but not enough for a $680,000 house in Bellevue. "Dad, we really need this," David said. We were sitting in my living room, the same room where I'd taught him to play chess, where we'd watched Seahawks games every Sunday. It's in the perfect school district. We're planning to start a family soon. This house is our future. I co-signed. Of course I did. I also started covering half their mortgage payment because I could see the stress on his face when their first payment was due. $2,847 a month. Every month. For 3 years. I didn't mind. I had my pension, my Social Security, and the consulting work still came in occasionally. I lived simply. My needs were small, but their needs, their future, that mattered to me. The issues really started about a year ago. Christina got pregnant. I was thrilled. I went out and bought a crib, a changing table, had them delivered to their house as a surprise. David called me that night. "Dad, Christina's upset. She had a whole nursery theme planned. The furniture you bought doesn't match. She's been crying all evening." "Oh," I said. "I'm sorry, I didn't know. I can return it. It's fine. We donated it to Goodwill. But maybe next time just ask before buying things, okay?" I apologized. Told myself I should have asked. When my grandson Marcus was born, I drove to the hospital immediately. Brought flowers for Christina, a teddy bear for the baby. I walked into the room and Christina's parents were already there, her mother holding Marcus, her father taking photos. "Robert," Christina said from the bed, her voice flat. "We're doing immediate family only right now. We'll let you know when visiting hours open up." I looked at David. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "I'm immediate family," I said quietly. "I'm his grandfather." "We're keeping it to parents and siblings right now," Christina's mother said, not looking up from Marcus. "Hospital policy. You understand." It wasn't hospital policy. I knew that. But I left. Waited in the cafeteria for 3 hours. David finally texted me. "Maybe come back tomorrow, Dad. Christina needs rest." I came back the next day. Met Marcus for 10 minutes before Christina said she was tired. I held my grandson, looked into his tiny face, and felt something crack in my chest. Over the next year, I saw Marcus maybe once a month. Always brief visits. Always when Christina allowed it. I'd asked David about bringing Marcus to my house, having him for an afternoon. Christina's not comfortable with that yet. He's still so young. He was walking now, saying words, and I was a stranger to him. 2 weeks ago, I got a text from David. Not a call. A text. Hey, Dad. Marcus's first birthday party is this Saturday at 2 p.m. Small gathering. Just close family. I texted back immediately. I'll be there. Should I bring anything? Just yourself. I bought Marcus a wooden train set, the kind I'd bought for David when he was a boy. Spent 2 days assembling it, making sure every piece was perfect. Saturday came. I put on a nice shirt, loaded the gift in my car, drove the 23 minutes to their house in Bellevue. Their house. The one I was paying half the mortgage on. I pulled up at 1:55 p.m. The driveway was already full. 4 cars. I recognized Christina's parents' Lexus. Parked on the street, grabbed the big wrapped box, walked up the front path. That's when I heard it. Through the door, before I even rang the bell. Music, laughter, children's voices. The party had already started. I rang the doorbell, waited, rang it again. The door opened. Christina stood there in a designer dress, holding Marcus on her hip. He was wearing a little bow tie. Behind her, I could see decorations, blue and gold balloons. A banner that said, Marcus is one. At least 15 people in the living room. Robert, she said. Not hi or come in, just my name. Hi, Christina. Happy birthday, Marcus. I held out the gift. She didn't take it. I'm sorry, Robert. There's been a confusion. The party started at noon. We texted you yesterday about the time change, remember? I pulled out my phone right there, showed her the text. It says 2 p.m. She barely glanced at it. That's strange. Everyone else got the update. Anyway, we're actually wrapping up now. We've already done cake and presents. But thank you for thinking of Marcus. Wrapping up? It's only 2 p.m. The party just... Christina? Who's at the door? David appeared behind her. He saw me and his expression changed. Guilt. That's what I saw. Dad. Hey, didn't you get the text about the time change? What time change? You said 2 p.m. Christina shifted Marcus to her other hip. Robert, we really need to get back to our guests. It's a bit chaotic right now with all the kids. Maybe you could visit Marcus another day? We can set something up. I looked past them. Saw Christina's parents, her sister and brother-in-law. People I didn't recognize. All celebrating my grandson's first birthday. David, I said, can I talk to you for a minute? Dad, it's really not a good time. 1 minute. He stepped outside, closing the door behind him. Through the window, I could see Christina watching us. What's going on? I asked. Why are you doing this? Doing what? You know what? I got here exactly when you told me to. The party's been going on for at least 2 hours. There was no time change text. He rubbed his face. Look, Dad. Christina wanted a more intimate gathering. Just her family and our close friends. I'm your father. I know. And you can see Marcus anytime. Just not today, okay? Today is complicated. Complicated how? I pay half your mortgage, David. I helped you buy this house. And I can't attend my own grandson's first birthday party? His voice dropped. Can we not do this right now? Christina's already stressed. You showing up is making it worse. Showing up? You invited me. I know. He looked back at the door. I have to go. We'll talk later. He went back inside. The door closed. Through the window, I saw him say something to Christina. She shook her head, then walked away. He stood there for a moment, looking at the door, then followed her. I stood on that porch, holding a train set for my grandson. Behind me, I heard another car pull up. More guests arriving. For the party I wasn't welcome at. I walked back to my car. Sat there for a minute. Through their front window, I could see everyone laughing, talking. Marcus was being passed around, everyone getting their turn to hold him, everyone except his grandfather. I drove home in silence. Put the train set in my garage. Sat in my living room, looking at the photos on the wall. David as a baby. David's first day of school. David graduating high school. David's wedding day. In every wedding photo, I was pushed to the edge of the frame. My phone buzzed. A text from David. Sorry about today. Let's do dinner next week. I didn't respond. 3 days later, on Tuesday, my phone rang. Christina. Hi, Robert. Quick question. Did you happen to make this month's mortgage payment? The bank sent us a notice that it's late. I was in my workshop, building a bookshelf. Stopped mid-cut with the saw. The payment processes automatically on the 15th, I said. Today's the 19th. You should have gotten confirmation 4 days ago. Well, we didn't receive anything. Can you check on that? We can't afford to have a late payment on our credit. I'll look into it. Great. Oh, and one more thing. The HOA dues increased. It's an extra $150 a month now. Can you cover that too? We're a bit tight this month with all the birthday party expenses. I set down the saw. The party on Saturday. Yes. Kids' parties are expensive. You wouldn't believe what they charge for a balloon artist these days. The party I wasn't invited to. There was a pause. Robert, we've been over this. It was a miscommunication about the time. There was no time change text, Christina. Well, I sent it. I'm sorry if you didn't receive it. Technology, you know. Anyway, about the HOA dues. No. I'm sorry? No. I'm not paying the increased HOA dues. Another pause. Longer this time. I see. Well, David and I will need to discuss this. It's just that we budget based on your contribution, and if you're suddenly changing the arrangement where I pay half your mortgage and get excluded from family events, that's not fair, Robert. We appreciate everything you do. But you can't use money to control our lives, or dictate who we invite to private family gatherings. I almost laughed. Control your lives? Christina, I've never asked you for anything. Not a thank you, not recognition, nothing. I just wanted to be part of my grandson's life. You are part of his life. But we have boundaries. We're Marcus's parents, and we decide what's best for him. If you can't respect that, then maybe we need to rethink this whole financial arrangement. Maybe we do. Excuse me? I said maybe we do need to rethink it. Her voice changed. Colder. Fine. I'll let David know you're pulling your financial support. I'm sure he'll be very interested to hear how his father is abandoning his family over a simple scheduling mix-up. She hung up. I sat there in my workshop, surrounded by sawdust and half-finished furniture. 30 years of Christmases alone so David could have new bikes and game consoles. 15 years of eating top ramen for dinner so he could have the nice school clothes. 3 years of mortgage payments on a house where I wasn't welcome. My phone rang again. David this time. Dad, what the hell? Christina just told me you're cutting us off? I said I wouldn't pay the HOA increase. It's $150. You're really going to blow up over $150? This isn't about the money, David. Then what is it about? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're punishing us because you're upset about the party. I'm upset because you lied to me. You deliberately gave me the wrong time so I wouldn't be there. That's not Dad. It was a mistake. Was it a mistake to tell me it was small gathering, just close family when there were 20 people there? Silence. Am I not close family, David? I'm not your father anymore? Of course you are. You're being dramatic. I pay half your mortgage. I helped you buy that house. I've never asked you for anything in return except to be part of your life, part of Marcus's life. And you can't even give me that. We're not stopping you from seeing Marcus. Once a month for 10 minutes while Christina hovers and checks her watch? That's not a relationship, David. That's a photo op. What do you want from us? I realized I was gripping the phone so hard my hand hurt. I want you to treat me like I matter. Like I'm not just an ATM that occasionally shows up and needs to be tolerated. We don't think of you that way. Then why wasn't I at my grandson's birthday party? Another long silence. Then, Christina's family is very important to her. Her parents are very involved. They can be sensitive about sharing the spotlight. She didn't want any conflicts on Marcus's special day. So you chose them over me. I chose my wife, Dad. That's what husbands do. Even when your wife is wrong? She's not wrong. She's Marcus's mother. She gets to decide these things, and you get to decide nothing? You're his father. This conversation isn't productive. Look, I'll talk to Christina about scheduling more visits with Marcus. But you need to keep up your end of the mortgage. We have a contract. We don't have a contract, David. I co-signed because you're my son, and I love you. But co-signing doesn't make me obligated to pay your bills every month. That was a gift, and gifts can stop. Dad, I need to go. I hung up, turned off my phone, sat in the silence of my workshop. That night, I couldn't sleep. Got up at 2 a.m. and went to my home office. Started pulling files, the mortgage documents, the payment history. 3 years. $102,492 I'd paid into their house. Money that could have been my own renovations, vacations, retirement comfort. I kept digging, found the emails, the text messages over the years. Every time I'd offered to help. Every time they'd said yes and thank you. Every time I'd asked to see Marcus and gotten maybe next week or Christina's not sure or let's play it by ear. I found my calendar, counted the visits. 14 times in the past year I'd seen my grandson. Average visit length, 23 minutes. I pulled up my bank account, looked at the automatic payment scheduled for the 15th of next month. Another $2,847. I canceled it. Then I opened my email and wrote to my lawyer, Tom Morrison. We'd gone to high school together, stayed friends through the decades. He'd handled Linda's estate after she passed. The email was simple. Tom, I need to discuss my options regarding a co-signed mortgage. Can we meet this week? He replied within an hour, even at 3 a.m. My office, Thursday, 10 a.m. Bring all documentation. Thursday morning came. I brought everything. Tom sat across from me in his office, overlooking Lake Washington, reading through the papers. Okay, he said finally. So you're a co-signer, but you've been making regular payments, substantial payments. And there's no formal agreement about this arrangement? Just texts and emails where they asked if I could help, and I said yes. Help being half the mortgage every month for 3 years. Yes. Tom leaned back. Robert, you know I have to ask. Are you sure about this? This is your son. Your grandson. I know who they are. This could destroy your relationship with them. Tom, there is no relationship. I'm a checkbook they occasionally have to say hello to. He nodded slowly. All right. Here's your options. As a co-signer, you're legally responsible for the debt if they default. But the payments you've been making, those are essentially gifts, unless you have documentation showing they were loans. What if I want them to be loans? Did you ever discuss repayment terms? I thought about it. No, but I have emails and texts where they asked for help temporarily and said they'd pay me back someday. Let me see those. I showed him my phone. He read through the messages, took screenshots. This is good. The language suggests these weren't intended as permanent gifts. They acknowledged it was temporary assistance. That gives us grounds to claim these were informal loans. And you can demand repayment. Probably won't get everything, but you can try. However, he leaned forward. There's another angle here. You're currently on the mortgage. You're equally liable. If you want off that mortgage, David and Christina need to refinance in their names only. Can they do that? Maybe. Maybe not. Their income needs to be sufficient. If it's not, they'll need to sell the house. I thought about that. The house they'd been so desperate for. The house in the perfect school district. The house where I'd never been truly welcome. Let's pursue both, I said. I want the money back that I paid, and I want off the mortgage. Tom looked at me for a long moment. This is going to get ugly, Robert. It's already ugly. I'm just making it official. He drafted the letter. Formal demand for repayment of loans totaling $102,492 plus interest. Also formal demand that I be removed from the mortgage within 60 days or the house would need to be sold. Are you sure? Tom asked, his finger over the send button. I thought about Marcus's face, how he didn't know me, how he might never know me at this rate. Send it. The letter went out Friday afternoon via certified mail. David called me Saturday morning at 6:47 a.m. What the fuck, Dad? I was in my kitchen, making coffee. Looked at the caller ID. Considered not answering. Answered anyway. Good morning, David. Don't good morning me. We just got a legal letter saying you're suing us for $100,000. $102,492. Plus interest. Are you insane? You can't do this. I can, actually. Tom Morrison says the documentation is clear. Those were loans, not gifts. Loans? Dad, you offered to help. We never agreed to pay you back. I poured my coffee, put it on speaker. Your texts say otherwise. Thanks for helping temporarily. We'll pay you back someday, just until we get on our feet. That's just things people say. You can't. You're really doing this? Over a birthday party? This isn't about one party, David. This is about 3 years of being treated like I don't matter. 3 years of paying for a house where I'm not welcome. 3 years of being kept from my grandson. You're not being kept from him. Then why have I seen him 14 times in the past year? Why does Christina schedule me like I'm an inconvenient doctor's appointment? She's his mother. She's protective. She's controlling, and you let her be. I'm not doing this with you right now. I'm calling your lawyer and we're fighting this. You can't destroy our lives because your feelings are hurt. I'm not destroying anything, David. I'm just stopping the payments. If that destroys your life, maybe you built it wrong. He hung up. Or I hung up. I'm not sure which happened first. Sunday, Christina called, crying. Robert, please. We have a baby. We can't lose our house. I was in my garden, pulling weeds. Put her on speaker. Then refinance in your own names. We can't. The bank already told us our income isn't enough. Not with David's student loans and my car payment. We need you on the mortgage. Then sell the house. Sell? Robert, this is Marcus's home. His room is here. His whole life. Christina, I didn't make you buy a house you couldn't afford. I didn't make you get a BMW. I didn't make you plan a life based on my money. But you offered. You said you wanted to help. I did want to help. Past tense. I wanted to be a grandfather. I wanted to be part of the family. But you made it very clear, I'm not family. I'm just funding. That's not true. Then why wasn't I at Marcus's birthday party? Silence. Then, quietly, I thought there would be too many people. I thought you'd be uncomfortable. You thought wrong. Robert, please. I'm sorry. I'll do better. We can schedule regular visits every week. I promise. No. What? I don't want scheduled visits where you're watching the clock. I don't want to be a chore on your calendar. I wanted to be a grandfather. Someone Marcus runs to when I arrive. Someone who gets to take him for ice cream or to the park. Someone who matters. You do matter. Then prove it. Refinance the house without me. Pay me back. Show me that you actually value me for something other than my bank account. She was crying harder now. We can't do those things. You know we can't. Then I guess we have a problem. I ended the call. Blocked their numbers. Went back to my weeding. Tom called me Monday afternoon. David's lawyer contacted me. They want to negotiate. What are they offering? They'll acknowledge the money as loans. Set up a payment plan. $500 a month until it's paid off. In exchange, you stay on the mortgage and don't force a sale. I did the math. $500 a month on $102,492. That's over 17 years. Tell them no. Robert, I'm 63 years old, Tom. In 17 years, I'll be 80. You think I'm going to live long enough to see that money back? No. Full amount within 6 months, or they sell the house. They can't come up with that kind of money. Not my problem. They should have thought about that before treating me like a stranger at my own grandson's birthday. Tom was quiet. Then, I'll relay your terms. But Robert, I need to tell you, if they lose the house, your relationship with David is already gone. I'm just making it official. The next 2 weeks were hell. They tried everything. David's texts came through, even though I'd blocked him. He used different numbers. Christina's parents called me, her mother screaming about how I was ruining their daughter's life, her father threatening legal action for emotional distress. I changed my number. Started sleeping better. Tom called on a Tuesday. They've agreed to sell. I felt something in my chest. Not relief. Not satisfaction. Just emptiness. When? House goes on the market next week. They're moving to an apartment in Renton. 2-bedroom. It's what they can actually afford. And the money? You'll get it from the sale proceeds. After the bank takes their portion, there should be enough equity to cover what you're owed. Good. Robert, there's one more thing. David asked if you'd be willing to meet, face to face. He says there are things he needs to say. I thought about that. Part of me wanted to say no. Part of me wanted to know what he possibly thought he could say now. Where? His choice was the house. One last time before they move. When? Saturday, 2 p.m. I almost laughed. Tell him I'll be there. Saturday came. I drove to their house in Bellevue. The for sale sign was already up. I pulled into the driveway. No other cars. Just David's Honda. He opened the door before I could knock. He looked terrible. Unshaven, dark circles under his eyes. Dad. David. We stood there. Two men who used to know each other. Come in. The house was already being packed. Boxes everywhere. Marcus's toys in piles. Pictures taken down from walls, leaving pale squares on the paint. We sat in the living room. The same living room where I'd never been invited to sit before. Christina's at her parents', David said. I wanted to talk to you alone. Okay. He rubbed his face. I fucked up. I didn't say anything. I let us, treat you like you didn't matter. I told myself it was just her being protective, or stressed, or adjusting to motherhood. But the truth is, I took the easy path. It was easier to keep her happy than to stand up for you. And that makes me a coward. Yes, I said. It does. He flinched. The birthday party. There was no time change. She told me to text you 2 p.m. even though the party was at noon. She said her parents would be upset if you were there because her dad wanted to give a speech, and he gets nervous around other people. I went along with it because I didn't want to fight with her. You chose her comfort over my presence. Yes. At your son's first birthday party. Yes. He looked at me. I don't have an excuse, Dad. I was wrong. I've been wrong for 3 years. I took your money and your help, and I gave you nothing back. Not even basic respect. I stood up, walked to the window, looked out at the yard, the perfect lawn, the play structure they'd installed for Marcus. Why now? I asked. Why tell me this now, when you're losing the house anyway? Because Christina left me. I turned around. What? 2 days ago. Said she can't be with someone who can't provide the life she deserves. She's filing for divorce, taking Marcus to live with her parents. I'll get him every other weekend if I'm lucky. I sat back down, slowly. She was never going to let you be part of Marcus's life, David continued. I see that now. She saw you as a bank account, and then as a threat to her control. And I was too stupid and too weak to stop it. David, no. Let me finish. Losing the house? I deserve that. Losing Christina? Honestly, probably for the best. But losing you? That's the thing I can't live with. And I know I don't have the right to ask. But I'm asking anyway. Is there any way we can fix this? I looked at my son, the boy I'd raised alone, the man he'd become, the mistakes he'd made. I don't know, I said honestly. You hurt me, David. Deeply. I know. And it's not just about the money or the house. It's about being treated like I wasn't good enough for my own grandson's life. I know. He was crying now. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry. We sat in silence, the house settling around us. This house we'd both paid for and both lost, in different ways. I'm not going to lie to you, I finally said. I don't know if we can go back to what we were. Too much has happened, I understand. But maybe we can find something new. Something honest, where you don't take advantage of me and I don't enable you to. He looked up. I'd like that. If you're willing to try, on conditions, anything. 1. You get therapy. Figure out why you couldn't stand up to Christina. Fix it before you make the same mistakes again. Okay? 2. If you get joint custody of Marcus, I get to be his grandfather. Real grandfather. Not a scheduled visit. Yes, absolutely. 3. You pay me back. Not all at once, but we set up a real payment plan. Something reasonable. And you stick to it. I will. And 4. You never, ever let anyone make you choose between them and me again. Next time, you choose me. Because I'm the one who was there when your mom died. I'm the one who raised you. I'm the one who loved you when you had nothing to offer me but a 12-year-old's grief. Remember that." He was full-on sobbing now. "I will, Dad. I promise." I stood up. He stood up too. We looked at each other. Then I pulled him into a hug. He collapsed into it like he was 12 again, and the world had just ended. "I'm sorry," he kept saying. "I'm so sorry." "I know," I said. "I know you are." We stood there in that empty house. Two men trying to figure out how to be father and son again. That was 4 months ago. David moved into a 1-bedroom apartment in Renton, started therapy twice a week, got a second job doing weekend tax prep to pay me back faster. He sends me $300 every month now. It's not much, but it's consistent, and it's his money, earned by his work, not asked of me as a favor. Christina did file for divorce. The custody battle is ongoing. Her lawyers tried to paint me as a vindictive grandfather who destroyed their family home. David's lawyers presented the text messages, the pattern of exclusion. The judge wasn't impressed with Christina. Last week, David got expanded visitation, every Wednesday night and every other weekend. He brings Marcus to my house on Wednesdays. The first time Marcus came over, he was scared, didn't know me, cried when David left the room. But the second visit, he let me read him a story. The third visit, he asked for the cookies I'd made. Last Wednesday, when David's car pulled up, Marcus pointed at my house and said "Gamp," his version of Grandpa. He ran to me when I opened the door. I cried later, after they'd left. Good tears. The kind I hadn't cried in years. David and I are rebuilding, slowly. We have breakfast together every Sunday at the same diner we used to go to when he was a kid. We don't talk about Christina much. We talk about Marcus, about work, about the Seahawks. Normal things. Father and son things. He's different now, more honest, less willing to avoid hard conversations. Last week he told me Christina's been asking him to put in a good word with me about letting her move back in with him. "What did you tell her?" I asked. "That she'd have to ask you herself if she wanted something from you. That I wasn't going to be her messenger anymore." I nodded. "Good. She hasn't asked. I don't think she will. She's too proud." "That's fine. I don't need her apology." "Don't you want one?" I thought about it. No. I want her to be a good mother to Marcus. That's all. Everything else is between her and her own conscience. He smiled a little. "When did you get so wise?" "About 3 years too late." We both laughed. It felt good. I still live in my same house. Still do my consulting work, though less of it now. I spend more time in my workshop, building things. I made Marcus a train set, the one I'd originally bought him. I tracked down the family who'd gotten it from Goodwill and bought it back. It sits in my spare room now, along with other toys I've been collecting. David says when his lease is up, he's looking for a 2-bedroom place. 1 room for him, 1 room for Marcus. "Nothing fancy," he told me. "Just something we can actually afford." "Sounds perfect," I said. Last night, I got an email from Tom Morrison. The final payment from the house sale came through. After everything, I got back $98,000 of the $102,492 I'd paid. Close enough. I transferred $30,000 of it to a trust fund for Marcus's college education. David doesn't know yet. I'll tell him when Marcus is older. The rest I'm keeping for myself. Maybe I'll travel. Maybe I'll finally renovate my kitchen. Maybe I'll just sit on it and enjoy the peace of mind. Because here's what I learned. You can't buy your way into someone's life. You can't pay for respect. You can't mortgage your dignity. For 3 years I tried. I thought if I just helped enough, gave enough, sacrificed enough, they'd see my value. They'd include me. They'd love me back. But love doesn't work that way. Respect doesn't work that way. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is stop paying for a relationship that costs more than it's worth. And sometimes the only way to save what matters is to let go of everything else. I still don't know if David and I will get back to what we were. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll build something different instead. Something more honest, even if it's smaller. But I know this. I'm not afraid of losing people anymore. I spent too long being afraid, being quiet, being grateful for scraps. Now I know what I'm worth. And I won't settle for less than that. Not for anyone. Not even for my own son. Marcus is coming over tomorrow. David asked if I could keep him for the afternoon while he handles some paperwork for the divorce. I said yes. I've got cookie dough in the fridge. The train set is oiled and ready. I bought some new books at the library sale. Tomorrow, my grandson will call me Gamp and eat cookies in my kitchen, and we'll play with trains on the floor. Tomorrow, I get to be a grandfather, and I didn't have to pay for it. I earned it.